Welcome to the Paper Snob. This is Tara. Today I'm working on 4 hops. I am working on my hop that I host on my personal Facebook community group. It is Mix It Up Monday, where we take a sketch, we mix it up with mixed media, and we create a beautiful layout. I am also working on How to Kill a Kit with Style and my Counterfeit Kit Challenge blog kit for January. And I'm also working on a new hop. This is a year-long hop hosted by Miranda Weber, and it is Everyday Moments, and we just take a photo from our everyday life that we want to tell the story behind. And I chose this large photo of my son Seth. I will pop up the sketch that we are using this week or this month for Mix It Up Monday. It was created by Kay's mom, and I will have her information linked in that description box below, as well as a playlist. So what I pulled for this month came from my January Counterfeit Kit Challenge blog kit and How to Kill a Kit with Style kit. It's the same kit. I just combined both of those things into one kit. The product focus for January for How to Kill a Kit with Style is alphas, so I have some tile letters as well as some letter stickers in there from my kit. I pulled in a piece of white Vicky Bouton Foundations paper for the mixed media. I'm going to pull in some scraps of white cardstock. It's not mixed media cardstock, so it's going to bend and make all kinds of mess, but that's okay. I've also pulled in 3 colors of the Lindy's Magical powders. I got some of these for Christmas, and I am super excited to continue playing with them. I played with them a little bit last month, and I'm going to play with them a little bit more today. And I'm really thrilled with the way that this is going in my head. I will be pulling in some stamping as well. I have not pulled the stamps at this time, but you'll see those come in a few minutes. So I'm going to pause this video. We're going to get started. I will be right back. The very first thing I want to do is I want to do some ink smooshing on my background, and I'm just going to mix a bunch of the powders on here. That yellow one I had never opened, and it had come out of the top. I guess it wasn't sealed well in the packaging, so it made a huge mess. No worries, I'll fix it. I'll get it all back into the jar after I'm finished with the video. So I just kind of sprinkled a little bit on my travel glass mat from Tim Holtz. Love this mat. It's really great to work with, especially when you just have the need for a small surface. And I love that it is small enough that I can still use my Fiskars mat here, and I don't have to worry about any glaring. So all I'm doing is just kind of using that packaging technique. Now I started out with the packaging flat, and I don't know if you saw, but I kind of wadded it up a little bit so that it wouldn't give me square splats. And now I'm flat again, trying to make sure I get coverage all over the white cardstock. Alright, now off camera I have cut 3 circles out of some scrap white cardstock. As I already mentioned, this is not mixed media cardstock, so it is very thin, and it is going to buckle when I add the mixed media to it, and I'm okay with that. I do let it dry fully overnight after I do the stamping, so and I weight it down a little bit so that it will flatten a little, but then I just use wet glue to glue it down fully, and that takes care of any real buckling that I have. The next thing I want to play with here is I'm going to add these magical powders right to the circle, and I'm going to play with them with my fingers. Part of the pull of mixed media for me is being able to just play, and that is kind of what I was doing there. I just wanted to see what happened, and well, you saw what happened. It gave me a nice little orangey splotch, and I'm quite thrilled with it. So let me clean off this glass mat, and I'm going to pull out my heat gun. So I'm not going to fully dry these circles with my heat gun. I am just going to dry them enough so that when I begin stamping on them, they will not smear. I will be using a waterproof ink as well, but I don't want to risk it smearing, and I don't want to risk the paper tearing. That is part of the problem with using scraps for mixed media. You end up with very thin, and this is probably my thinnest cardstock that I have. It's what I use to create cut files with. It's not what I use as backgrounds typically. So I had to cut down a whole bunch of it to use for printing recently because I ran out of my 8.5 by 11 cardstock. So I managed to go ahead and get that mostly dry, and now we're going to start that stamping. So I pulled out several different stamps. I have some Hip Kit stamps, I have some Vicki Boutin stamps, and I have a stamp that I purchased from AliExpress that I haven't used yet. So I'm just gonna sit here and play with these circles and these stamps, and just gonna have a little bit of fun. Again, this is mixed media, it doesn't need to be perfect, so some of my stamping will not be perfect, and I'm good with that. Some of my stamping will be perfect, and I'm good with that. I do have several stamp blocks laid out, some border stamp blocks and some other stamp blocks. You're going to see a stamp block here in a little bit when I pull it out that already has a stamp on it. That block and that stamp just go together. I don't ever take it apart. I almost never wash that stamp. It did get washed this time because I had a stamp on the back of it, and I washed the entire block and stamp together, so that journaling stamp did get a little bit of washing. It's still really dirty, and it's fine because I only ever use that journaling stamp with black ink, and so I'm good with it not ever getting washed. So this is a Hip Kit Club stamp. It is a star shape, and it's just a bunch of alphas in the middle, or in a star shape. And I'm using my little stamp tool to help get a little bit of even pressure. Again, it's not perfect, and I'm good with that. I do really love that stamp, and I don't know that I've actually used it, but I've also not used these Vicki Boutin stamps, so I'm having fun with those too. To me, this is just kind of fun, you know, hanging out here, making some borders on here. And I'm using both sides of this stamp. And there's that stamp block I was talking about with the journaling stamp already on it. And I'm going to use both sides of several of my blocks here. I have this bullseye circle that's really fun. It fits pretty well here, so I'm just going to stamp a little edge there, and that looks really cool to me. So I'm just going to keep playing. The next stamp I pull out is this diamond background stamp from Hip Kit Club. I love a lot of their stamps that they put out. They're very, very useful, and this one's really fun because it's got 4 different backgrounds on it. I'm just going to use the triangles, and then I'm going to pull in this alpha stamp that I got from AliExpress and just kind of stamp some edges. Again, just for fun. I really enjoyed this process. Now that I got my stamping all done, I am ready to go ahead and finish building this layout. And now you can see I cut my large photo into a circle, but I overshot the cut, so I have a flat edge. Did the same thing with my cardstock. And so I'm just going to use the circles that I made with my stamps and magical powders, and I am going to cover that up so that unless you watch this video, you'll never know that it's there. That's the beauty of, you know, being able to create like this. You can cover up mistakes really easily. I do it all the time. So the middle circle, I am going to go ahead and I'm going to put some foam adhesive on the back. I'm going to cut some of this green fun foam here. I keep a couple sheets next to my desk, and this is one of those 2 sheets, and I'm going to just use that to pop up that 3rd circle a little bit, and that will help flatten it somewhat, especially since I'm adding some fun foam all the way on the edge here, and that just kind of makes it easy for me to get it relatively flat. I am using my Nuvo Deluxe glue to glue it down. This is a bottle that I'm trying to use up because I bought the little glue press from My Sweet Petunia, but it doesn't fit the large bottle. It only fits the small bottle. So I have to use up the large bottle before I can play with my new glue press thingamabob. So on her sketch, she had the title and the journaling kind of wrapped around these smaller circles. I am sure that she meant for these small circles to be the photos. And of course, I'm doing my own thing, kind of like I always do. And I made them mixed media circles and brought in a large photo. Mostly is because I have a container in my scrap space that is full of photos, large photos, and I was going through them, and this was one of the ones that was there, and I thought, oh, this will make a really cute layout. And so I pulled it. My goal with those large photos is A, to get a better place to store them that doesn't take up as much space, and B, to get some of them into frames and hung on my wall finally. It's a lot of like family photos, mostly before we even joined the Army, which next week my husband's anniversary of joining the Army will be up on the 16th. It'll be 24 years since my husband joined the Army, and he's still going strong. Anyway, I did pull in a lot of phrases with this from my kit, so I wanted to make sure I used several of them. One of them says, I love you. The other one says something about life taught me to cherish moments. You're one of a kind. I just kind of wanted to use some of those things on this layout. This kid of mine is definitely a one-of-a-kind child. He was so much fun when he was little, and as he grew, of course, he was still so much fun, but he was just a special little guy, and I really enjoyed being his mom, and I hope he knows that. I don't think as moms we always think to tell them that as often as we should, and so I hope he knows that he was just an absolute joy to parent, and I loved almost every minute of it. You know how it is with kiddos. You have those good times and those bad times, and being a mom is the best but hardest job I have ever had. Got my layout completely finished. I am quite happy with the way this layout turned out. I really enjoyed making the mixed media circles here and kind of switching up how the sketch could be interpreted, with these being photos and this being pattern paper. And with that in mind, I did not journal around the circles because this is a photo and I didn't want to journal on it. So I added my labels to the bottom so that I would have some journaling. I also took the time to add foam adhesive in various places underneath this and underneath here. I added foam adhesive so that it would be level going across that, because as you saw in the video, I popped the middle circle up with foam adhesive. I also moved this phrase from up here, brought it down here, and I used wet glue to glue down all of the stars and alphas. I want to thank you for coming to my channel today. I really appreciate those of you who take the time to like, comment, and or subscribe. I would love it if you would do me a favor. There is a playlist. Actually, there's two playlists listed below. One is for the Mix It Up Monday Hop. I would love it if you'd watch these playlists and then subscribe to some of the ladies who are participating. There are so many of us who are trying to get to the next level of subscriptions. I have several friends so close to 500, some really close to 1,000. So I would really love to see you support my friends. There is room for all of us creators. This is not a competition for us. We want to support one another, and this is one of the ways that we do that, by shouting out in our videos to our friends. So please take the time to subscribe to some of my friends. The second playlist is for the everyday hop. This is a yearly hop for this year where we have 52 videos. I didn't start the first Monday of the week because I had another video go live that day, and I didn't, it wasn't an everyday moment, it was a Disney layout. So I may or may not get all 52 of the photos scrapbooked this year, but I do love the idea of this hop and making sure that we scrapbook the everyday moments such as this. So thank you for being here, and I really appreciate all of you, and I'll see you next time. Have a great day. Bye.